to SBG News and Views. My name is Louis Herms, and today our buddy Robert Imbrielli will be taking a day off, taking care of some personal things, and it's just me. Wah, wah, wah. All right, so welcome and thank you. Clearly, Rumble's having issues today. We're already seeing it, but those of you that are watching, congratulations to you. You somehow got through the mirage, and that's not a word, is it? Is it a mirage? No. Menagerie. There we go. Let's go with menagerie. You got through the menagerie of craziness just to get on Rumble. So good for you. So I'd like make sure you like, share, subscribe, double check your following because we just got a notice and three other, I guess you would call them podcasters, let me know yesterday that their subscribers are being unfollowed on Rumble. So just double check. It'll be all good. And remember to visit screwbiggov.com to gain access to everything we offer, from our documentaries like Cages, Remember Your Oath, Freedom in Action, everything you can imagine we have on screwbiggov.com. And most video clips that you see on these programs will be short segments that you'll be able to find on Robert's Telegram, which is Renegade Media. So that's awesome also. All right, so let's get into this wackiness at the World Economic Forum, and it is wackiness. The good news is they're floundering. Their narratives are getting destroyed immediately. They know that the online media, which would be something that you may be watching now, SBG News and Views, is absolutely dominating what they used to call the mainstream media. And that is a fantastic thing. Although we're going to address some issues with inside it. I call it the sub-mainstream media. And what happens, though, is they are not getting any traction. So they're in a panic. And we're going to kind of go into that today, which is going to be very, very interesting. I think it's going to be an amazing show, by the way. Have some disclosures and some good stuff. So they are meeting in Davos, Switzerland. Now, first thing we need to know is what's their slogan? Their slogan is committed to improving the state of the world. Okay. So you always have to break that down with these globalist whack jobs. They're committed to improving the state of the world for themselves, right? Everything they say has meaning. So they want to indoctrinate you, they want to control your free speech, so on and so forth. And where do they hold this meeting? In Davos, Switzerland. Now, we've talked about Switzerland many times on this channel, and we're going to go over it again real quick because it's very, very important. So let me explain the neutrality of Switzerland. So they are built up as the most neutral country in the world. They're amazing, right? Now, the Swiss people, fantastic. I know a lot of them, talk to them. They're just wonderful people. So this is not an indictment on that. This is an indictment on the globalists, the game they play with Switzerland. So what's the game they play? They put out publicly that Switzerland has what? The best air quality, the best chocolate, the best scenery. They're the nicest, most charitable people. They have the best cheese, the best watches, the best knives, and the best banks. Interesting, considering those banks have been known to, you know what else? They're a stronghold of the Freemasons. And guess where CERN is? And we're going to throw that logo up. CERN has the largest hadron collider in the world. Notice the logo. Does that look like a 666? Isn't that interesting? All right. What else are they known for? Well, they are known for the numerical value of www. Now, what's www? The World Wide Web, right? It also is the 23rd number in the alphabet, in the English alphabet, which would equal pain. www, who Switzerland says was invented and founded in Switzerland, right? Guess what it translates to in Hebrew? W translates to the number 6. So it's numerically what they're showing you with www, created in Switzerland, is 666. Here's another fun fact you may not know about. Google, Google, did you know they have an engineering hub in Switzerland? And it's known as what? Their experimental prototype and engineering facility. Huh. Is Google's logo 666 also? Sure seems to be, doesn't it? So that's your lovely Switzerland, folks. And these are where these creepos are hanging out. They're flying in with their 50 to $100 million jets, right? Burning up carbon emissions like you can't believe because they're going to save the climate. Huh? What? It's so much fun. So the Davos, the World Economic Forum, guess what their theme is this time? It's rebuilding trust. Isn't that ironic? So how would they have lost trust? Well, they lost trust because they've been trying to control and lie to us forever. How many times did you've heard of, because of climate change, that virtually the world is going to end, and it never happened? Well, I can tell you it's been going on for about 40 to 50 years already. So the Davos crazies are now running scared because their narrative is falling. They're being crushed. So now what are they attacking? Bigger than ever, they're going after free speech. So is he kissing Mullali's ass because we have a massive make your country great again movement where we the people, God-loving people, are actually taking their countries back? Is that so? Is Klaus Schwab just kissing their butt? Is it a movie? Is Mullally a wolf in sheep's clothing? Well, the good news is he had a over 20-minute speech, and he just tore up everything that the World Economic Forum and Davos and these globalists are about. So I'm going to cover a little bit of it. Javier Milei on Wednesday called on business and political leaders to reject socialism, which we know turns into totalitarianism eventually, and instead embrace free enterprise capitalism to bring an end to world poverty. He said, quote, "Today I'm here to tell you that the Western world is in danger." Now remember, the globalists refer to themselves as the Western world. Very interesting that he would choose those words. He says, and it is in danger because those who are supposed to have to defend the values of the West are co-opted by a vision of the world that inexorably leads to socialism and thereby to poverty. Great statement. So we're going to watch this guy. He says a lot of interesting things, but he's got a sketchy background, so I still have to be a little bit standoffish when it comes to my full support for him. But let's pay attention, right? Maybe, I mean, look at Vivek Ramaswamy. I call him the Swami. It says all the right things, but if you look at his past, it's very checkered. So we have to find out what's going on. Let's go now. This is very interesting. This is going to be a video, and I'll probably be pausing just in little commentary for you, but this is the former U.S. Space Commander. Really pay attention to what he's saying. I think this is incredibly important. So, remember that Ronald Reagan was extraordinarily effective his first 3 years in office? So what did he do? He talked extraordinarily tough, and he had the by far the best military in the world to back up his words. He didn't have to use them, but he had them there to back up his words. This is where we, the people, need to stand up, because we need to start using strong language and not be so nicey and fuzzy around the edges. We need to tell the truth as it is. We need to be authentic and hard-nosed and strong in the face of these people. And yes, and they know it. All we have to do is stand up. So I know we're getting there, but that's what we need to do. Hello, does anybody have any pets at home? We have a few. We have 3 beautiful pets at home. And I have to tell you, Most of you know on this channel that we get hundreds of offers to go ahead and promote products, and we've only taken 3 as of yet. One of them is the pet food and the pet products and the mushrooms that they supply to sbgpets.com. Incredible. The results we're seeing are amazing. I can tell you, my 17-year-old, our 17-year-old German Shepherd probably shouldn't be here anymore, and he still has a little bounce in the step, right? And he seems to be fairly healthy, especially for his age. Our young one, our 3-year-old, which is 165-pound beast, is full of energy, and our Cooper, which is our husky, he's about, I think, 10 years old, maybe somewhere around there. And for the first time in years, now he's jumping up and down with incredible energy. I'm telling you, the way they poison and go after our pets is way more than they even do to us in the United States. And we know it's bad with our food. So I recommend going to sbgpets.com and just research and see what they have. Now, for humans, they have something amazing there too. They kind of found a loophole. So click on humans. Does it work with the C word? I'm not allowed to say. All right. In other news, I want to give a mention to Jonathan Alexander. Jonathan Alexander runs Live Border News, and Jonathan was just on the border a couple days ago. Did a wonderful job exposing. In fact, if you notice, this is an actual picture I took from the video clip. You can find this on his YouTube, Live Border News. He's actually live on the border. This is about a 10-minute clip. If you notice, there is the illegal immigrants coming in. There's well over 100 that he showed, and huge encampments. But notice in the back, there's tents. There were tents and camping stations all over the place. Now, he actually got into it a little because there's a group of people there now that were feeding and giving water to them. But guess what they were doing? They were instructing them, and these are kind of leftist crazies. They were instructing them, do not talk to anybody. Do not give them any information whatsoever. And then they tried to, ironically, their vehicle itself was stuck, I guess, up on the hill. And Jonathan and his crew helped help free their vehicle, and they came down, and then they were trying to pressure Jonathan and his crew not to have conversations with people. It's quite disgusting, but very good. You should see it's a 10-minute video. Go to Live Border News on YouTube and livebordernews.com. Jonathan's doing a good job down there, so I just think you should take a look. Plus, that gives a fantastic segue to what I want to mention next. There is a massive convoy that's being organized right now. It's called Take Your Border Back. It's actually takeourborderback.com. Go to takeourborderback.com. Get all the information. If you want to join the convoy or support the convoy, my good friend is one of the, I guess, creators of this. He's doing a phenomenal job. They kind of have me on more of a consulting, which is perfect. So I kind of give them a little bit of advice and something to do with the communication also. But I got to tell you, this is well organized. I think it's gonna go off really well. It starts in January 29th in the Northeast and other places, and it will end February 3rd in Eagle Pass, Texas, Yuma, Arizona, San Ysidro, so in California. So make sure you go to takeourborderback.com and you can find out where you can join the convoy itself. Pretty awesome stuff that they're doing, and I believe we're going to get a lot of news attention on this too. Probably more from local media because we understand how the national media works, but it's all right. We'll take what we can get. Talking about power, guess what we have on tomorrow? Tomorrow we have Take Your Power Back. This is going to be an epic show, I believe. We're going to have on there Jaron and Greg from Rise TV, an amazing teacher. Her name's Brittany, that will be on there, and then Don Milton, which is a friend of the shows, and he's going to teach you guys how to do functions on your actual physical body that will make you feel better, more confident, and so on and so forth. This is going to be an excellent roundtable discussion. You guys definitely want to see this, and this is what we're trying to do here on SBG News. We're going to give you news a few days, and we want to mix it up with something that will make your life better. And that's what we're constantly trying to bring to each other, or some very powerful interviews, which we have coming up. I talked to Delora O'Brien today. I know SG Anon is booked. We've got a lot of great things coming up. So stand by on this channel and you'll see everything coming up. All right. Now here's my main topic. And I have a lot of passion about this. Have you heard me say many times, as I take a little sip, I think what's beautiful about right now, is we are in what I call the age of authenticity. So we're in this age where people are craving authenticity above everything else. They're so done with the games that are even being played by the white hats. And they're like, I just want authenticity because I'm an adult and I can make my decisions. I just need to know what's what, and that you're not being a faker when you're talking to me. You don't have an agenda when you're talking to me. Very, very important. So being authentic, by the way, is the highest frequency that you can resonate at. It's actually said by some people that it's 4,000 times stronger than love itself. And it really makes sense, because can you have true love if your relationship lacks authenticity? I would say that would be tough, right? So that brings me to the political class. Our so-called leaders and corporations, and of course the mainstream media, right? They clearly don't have any authenticity. They play games to get you to watch, they lie to you, and their agenda is completely different from what they're stating it is. People have picked up on that. What I don't know if they're quite have found out yet, and it's a dirty untold secret, that our sub-mainstream media, which is the conservative media on podcasters, let's call it, on platforms exactly like this, many of them, especially the large ones, are extraordinarily inauthentic. And it's sad. What do I mean by that? So they don't tell you what's really happening at the border, right? But suddenly the sub-mainstream media, these conservative podcasters, are now hopping on the border bandwagon because it's popular. But are they still misleading you by eliminating information? And I say they are, because I'm watching many of these pictures of these people and these live events that they're holding at the border. They're standing in front of full border walls with no holes in it, right? And no immigrants. So they're not really going where that's happening. That's a subconscious indication to people that it's not that bad. Do you see what's going on? Sounds like controlled opposition in some cases. I'm not saying they are controlled opposition. I'm just saying they're being inauthentic. I can tell you, at the border, because I've been there, they have many holes in the section we were at. They had at least 10, 12-foot sections of Trump's wall that was completely cut out. And there was hundreds and hundreds of immigrants on this side of the border. And there were cartel coyotes that were intimidating, trying to intimidate those of us that oppose illegal immigration. So that's really what's going on. So these sub-MSM conservatives that you may trust, they just happen to barely glaze over. Just saying, guys, we need to pay attention. So why would they avoid these topics? Because they're more concerned about maximizing their followers and not being labeled. They are inauthentic and lack courage. So next time you're watching what I call the sub-conservative mainstream media, that is prominent on the platform you're watching right now, just know that they know a lot more than they are saying and talking about. Sorry to say, this includes many of the so-called white hats. It's just like controlled opposition. We can still use them to our advantage to wake up the normies. But it's only a first step into the true awakening, which is the disclosure of the real globalist agenda. The good news, in my opinion, authenticity will win the day. And if it feels bleak out there, just hang in there, Because I can tell you right now, authenticity has the momentum, and you're part of it right now. I appreciate you listening to that rant. All right. Speaking of J6ers, I'm going to feature a gentleman today. It's a sad story, but maybe there's something we can do to help. This is a deaf J6er, and he's in prison, and he needs help. I'm going to actually read from this article by writer Jen Baker. She did a great job. So I'm just going to read a little bit here. This January 6th defendant, Vitaly Gosenkowski, I don't know how close I came to that, he reached out from his cell in D.C. Gulag to tell his story and beg for America's help. Gosenkowski is deaf, and we were only able to communicate with him electronically. The prison is making it difficult for the deaf, I guess I'm not very professional, to get the hearing aids he needs to be able to hear noises and protect himself while locked up. Since January 6th, he told us that he's been disowned by his two mothers and their LGBT community. He was actually adopted, or I believe went into foster care originally and adopted by two lesbian mothers that were originally from Russia. It's a very interesting, convoluted story also. But that's the only family he has. And they abandoned him. So he's also been banned from the deaf community and expelled from his college, all because he was at J6. So I would suggest, if you have the will or the resources, to go to his Give Send Go link. It's givesendgo.com, free Vitali. And if you can help fund him to help him get his hearing aids, that's fantastic. Or at least pray for him. You can do that on the site also. So that's givesendgo.com, free Vitali. All right. So this is an interesting story to me, how this is rolling out. The next one, that is. Trump lost one county in the Iowa caucus. Why is that? This is what's very interesting. So the Iowa caucus allows same-day party change to vote in the caucus. So what the Democrats did is they came out in force and asked them to vote for Haley or DeSantis. So they changed the same day. They changed from Democrat to Republican. Talk about inauthentic. And then what they do? To vote against Trump. The games these sickos are playing. Now, but there's good news, and you know I like to find the silver lining that's kind of woven into this. If you look on your screen, you can see that Trump won 51% of the vote. Okay. Knowing that they had a slew of Democrats, in fact, they had so many coming in there, one of the places actually ran out of the switch forms. They had to try to get the switch forms reprinted to switch your party. So they had a slew of people going in voting for DeSantis and Haley. So those numbers, I would say, he probably won 70, 80, maybe more percent of the vote. So just watch this and watch the momentum. By the way, that one county that Nikki Haley won, she just happened to win by one vote. And that county just happened to hand out a bunch of switch your party papers. Very interesting. Speaking of Trump, a judge actually a federal judge threatens to kick Trump out of court. Look at the image too. So look at these artists, how they depict President Trump in this. As a mean, scowl, angry person. You see the games? These are the games that the mainstream media, their lackeys and these sickos play. It's all about manipulation. It's all about manipulation. It's all about propaganda, and it's all about control. These are little things that you can mention to normies that are conservatives. You can say, here's the deal. Now, what really is a conservative? That's up for debate nowadays. I think it's maybe a conservative ideology. You know, I don't believe in either party, Republican or Democrat. Woo! Oh, I did not hit the mute button in time. Sorry about that. I do not believe in either party, especially now because it's a uniparty. And the goal is that you either get a Democrat or you get a lying Republican in there, and then the globalists run the world. That's what they do. But we're coming back at them very, very hard. So this is a New York federal judge. He threatened to kick former President Trump out of his courtroom for being, quote, disruptive during a trial proceeding Wednesday, determining how much he owes writer E. Jean Carroll for his own words, not mine. So, quote, Mr. Trump has the right to be present here. That right can be forfeited, and it can be forfeited if he is disruptive, which what has been reported to me consists of. And if he disregards court orders, Mr. Trump, I hope I don't have to consider excluding you from the trial. This is U.S. District Judge Louis A. Kaplan said on Wednesday. And he said, I understand you're probably eager for me to do that, the judge continued. Trump replied, I would love it. And then the Kaplan said back, I know you would. You just can't control yourself in the circumstances, apparently. And Trump said, you can't either. So Trump's just leading by example, guys. It doesn't matter what you think about him. He's showing you that you need to fight back against the establishment. As Leslie Shepard says, we are their employers. Let them know that. In another case that is just falling apart, by the way, against President Trump, Fani Willis case is so tainted by self-dealing and impropriety that the entire case must be dismissed without prejudice, according to the Gateway Pundit. And I'm actually going to read from a little bit from their site because, again, if they do a good job, I got to give them credit. It says, startling revelations out of Fani Willis's office suggesting an improper romantic relationship giving rise to an irremediable conflict of interest between Georgia's district attorney and the special prosecutor, Nathan Wade, should result in the entire case dismissal without prejudice. The allegations of impropriety between Willis and Wade, whom Willis' team contracted in November of 2021, are legion and include not only an inappropriate romantic relationship, but also serious allegations of self-dealing that involve Willis's abusing her public office for lavish vacations, federal funding, and a myriad other ethical violations. The fiery allegations percolated to the surface after Mike Roman, one of the 17 co-defendants implicated in the Willis indictment, raised them in a January 8th court filing seeking to dismiss the grand jury indictment in total as fatally defective and disqualifying the district attorney's office from further prosecuting the matter. Roman's explosive motion highlights improprieties that run the gauntlet from improper romantic relations to breaches of district attorney's loyalty of oath, which we talk about here a lot. They need to remember their oath, to egregious instances of self-dealing, most of which can be independently corroborated through adjacent court filings. The misconduct is so severe and persistent that it likely imputes Fani Willis's whole office. Fortunately, there is a remedy. Under the Georgia State Constitution, Article 5, Section 3, Paragraph 4, not that you wanted to know that, quote, the Attorney General shall represent the state in the Supreme Court in all capital felonies and in all civil and criminal cases in any court when required by the governor. When required by the governor. This is important. Governor Brian Kemp has a constitutional duty to send the AG, whose name is Chris Carr, into the district attorney's office to clean up this mess and do so immediately or risk irreparable damage to public confidence in the integrity of the proceedings and, by extension, given President Trump's involvement, America's justice system overall. So this is something to watch. Now, I maybe hold out a little bit of hope, but let's reverse you back to Governor Brian Kemp came out and said it's sad that they did this to him, but clearly he can be intimidated to change. So we're going to watch and see how this plays out. If he has the protection, I believe he's going to do the right thing. So let's find out. It's heating up, guys. It's the middle of January, and we've got 2-3 years of news coming out our way. So let's finish up with Our WTF moments. The first one is this is sad, but I'm going to address it. These are about young girls that were actually stuffed inside of barrels in the desert. Think about what had to happen for them to find these children alive. Well, number one, they were known kids that were reported by their parents to be missing. Okay? That's important to know. In addition, they happened to be in an area where the cops were not corrupt and they cared more about the taking care of the kids and the family than they do about the pressure that they get from the satanic cabal. So those things have to line up, and they actually happen to get some over the border that we'll never even know about, and that's sad also. Now, in kind of a crazy video. So we were going to show this about a week or 2 weeks ago, and we got busy, so we axed it from the show. But we're going to bring it back today. This dude attacks a judge. Now I'm going to add some context to this. This guy has a pretty bad history. He could be crazy. He could legitimately be just a bad dude. But I always lean to how it seems so often with our investigations that there's so many dirty judges out there, and the judicial system is not on the side of we the people. So when I first thought this, my reaction was, oh, he got jilted, so he's going after her. So watch this, and I'll add a little more context at the end.
Get a taste of something else, because I just can't with that history. In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court... Hey! Whoa, whoa, whoa! Hey! Hey!
Well, based on that skill set, maybe he should have just been focusing on sports. Wow, did he jump high. So that's crazy. He got back in court a couple days later. Of course, they fully masked him up. They had him bound, hands, feet, legs, and everything. And then they, of course, upped his sentence. But who knows what happens nowadays? I mean, maybe this could have been a corrupt judge. Or maybe he's just a bad dude. Who knows? But it's very interesting to say the least. Let me finish up with this, guys. Remember, tomorrow we have an amazing show. You have to be on that. If you want to learn how to self-heal and let's call it evolve, even though I really don't like that word too much, this is a great show to be on tomorrow. So definitely be on it. Let me just say, guys, we have everything that we need right now in this world to take our country's plural back. We just have to have the courage to step up and make a difference. We have to have the courage to be uncomfortable. We have to know that it's okay, no matter what people are telling you, to raise your voice against this evil. We can do it. We will do it. And just know that God has given you the gift to take care of it. Even though some days it feels like if you don't have it, you've got it. You've got it. We can do this together. We the people are winning. The momentum's with us. So we need to make sure that we take our country back now. I don't know if we're going to have another chance to ever do this again, because the globalists, if we don't act, they will act. Now, I'm going to show you a video right now when we're closing out. It's a reminder of the PCR test madness. Now, remember, he just recently said that even now on the PCR test, you can get the pamphlet and it says false positives on literally every flu that's ever existed, a bad water, some mixed saliva with somebody else. I mean, it's just crazy stuff. So the PCR tests are just ludicrous. So we're going to show this video, And then just please remember to like, follow, and share. God bless you. We got this. Good night.